Hi friends, you're back here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and today we're talking about dill, okay? We grow dill in our garden, and you can also get it at the store in these big giant stalks. They sell it for pickling, like this. And you use this part in pickling, and then I'm going to talk about and read from some of Scott Cunningham's books on how we can use the stalks for some really special witchcraft tools as well. And what their uses and powers are and everything, okay you guys? So we're out here under my favorite tree in my meditation spot. Here's my like stool that I sit on. My candle's gone out because it's kind of a windy day. But anyway, I've pulled over the dill from the garden, and when you take from it, you want to just, you can use a special tool that you always use, like a special pair of shears, and you know, those are blessed, and you keep them at your altar if you're an herbalist or if you're an herbal witch. And then take those shears, or if you don't have some, just hold your knife in your hand and say, please bless this offering that I get from my plant. And then ask for it. If it's a tiny plant, you can't take too much. Maybe even a tiny sprig would be too much because it really needs to grow and flourish. From a big plant like this, and it gets like this at the end of the year, you just want to start it really early. So you want to leave an offering of some kind. You know, these fell off a little cucamelon plant that we have. So like I told my husband, oh, I want those, I'm going to give them as an offering to the dill when I cut it. Now, when we think of dill, like that smell, what does it bring up in you guys? To me, it's like immediately pickles, because I'll tell you a little bit about my childhood. I grew up on a farm. The only thing that we brought was bread because my mom couldn't make it. She couldn't figure out how to like make it, you know, from scratch. Everything was from scratch. So we did things like pickling and canning together every single summer, at least once, maybe twice. And that was such like a cool family thing. So when I smell dill and whenever we pickle, that just brings back like the best reminiscence moments of my childhood. If you guys have kids, do it with your kids, because for their whole lives, if you make that a happy thing and a happy moment and a joyous thing, when they smell that, because that's our of our senses, our olfactory nerve, our sense of smell will bring us back to a memory quickest. So if you had like someone in your life that you didn't like and they always smelled like this perfume, and then you smelled that perfume and it immediately brought that feeling back into you, that's what dill can do for children. You know what I mean? Do you get that relation? Like, and you're like, oh, that person was such a bad person. So make that smell and make your olfactory senses, make dill a really special thing if you have children and you're canning, and that's what I'm trying to say. Because that's such a cool thing for me, and there's not a ton from my childhood that I remember that was super positive, but canning as a family always was. Okay, so on to like what Scott Cunningham has to say in this book about dill. I'm going to hold it up so that you can pause it if you need to. That. And now I'll read it to you. So the gender is masculine. Its powers are protection, money, lust, love. Its magical uses, the herb is protective when hung at the door and carried in protective sachets. Placed in the cradle, like of a babe, it protects children, and if it's placed over the door, no one ill-disposed or envious can enter your house. That is cool. Today, I'm putting dill above my door because envious people give the evil eye, and the evil eye, oh God, it's insane. Like, it has so much power, and people don't know that they do it, and that's why I don't like go out a ton sometimes, is because like the energy you absorb from the evil eye. So having dill above your doorway will make someone not be someone that is ill-disposed or envious will not be able to enter your house. That's some Hollywood stuff right there, you know, like garlic hung around your neck, you can't have a vampire. Dill in magic, in witchcraft. Excellent. Back on to Scott. Dill, owing, is the #1 of seeds plant produced. It is used in money spells. Added to a bath, it makes the bather irresistible, and so that's probably the lust part. And dill stimulates lust if eaten or smelled, which is why dill pickles are so popular. Smell dill to cure hiccups. That is fantastic. I've never even heard that. So if you have some dried dill and you get the hiccups, Put your nose in your dill jar, man. What a cool idea. So that's what Scott's got to say from that book on dill. And then he, from this book, Wicca in the Kitchen, he has loads to say. And I'm going to hold it up for you, and I hope I get through all of it. And I think I can. We're still in the shortness of a video. So, he's just got so much cool things to say about it. And now I'm going to say them about it. So, alright, dill. Now, he says in this book some different things sometimes, like, because we're using this only for cooking, and we're using this only for, like, you know, herbalism, spells, you know, witchcraft, Wicca, etc., like sachets, you know, things like that, witches' jars. But in here, we're talking about cooking. So when I'm reading from this book, now this is a whole new thing. Remember, this is when we're ingesting it, when we're eating it, when we're making it for someone, okay? So, he says, dill. The planet is Mercury, the element is fire. Energies, conscious mind, money, weight loss, and love. Lore. I love this book because it talks about lore, and lore is fantastic to me. To those of us familiar with dill, only in the form of pickles, its history may come as a surprise. The Egyptians knew of it and considered dill sacred to Amestri, one of Horus's 4 sons who guarded the canopic jars in which mummified persons' internal organs were kept. So dill was used in the Egyptians, which I love best. Horus, Ra. I'm thinking about getting a big Eye of Ra tattoo on my other hand. You guys tell me what you think would be cool on my other hand, because I want to get something amazing, because I do a lot of hand videos that has to do with witchcraft. So, let's get back on to what I was saying. The Egyptians were using dill in mummification like the highest gods, you know, like that must have been pretty protective, I would imagine. Back on to Scott. Where did I leave off? Which a mummified person's internal organs were kept. The ancient Greeks used dill fruits, which is the seeds, as money. Let me show you. Up in here, there's seeds that just like pop out at the end of summer if you just let it go to seed. You know, people say, don't let your plants go to seed. Well, why? Because you can just grow it from the seed. Oh my gosh, such a cool magical tool when you recycle the seeds from something you already grew from seeds. You are growing generations of a plant if you continue to do that. We do that here, and I want to show you loads on that as well, but not in this video because we got to keep it pretty short. So keep the stems for other things, because I'm going to talk about that right now. So when we talk about dill fruits, it's the seeds. And when we talk about dill weed, it's the leaves. Like this. Thank you. I have an offering. We've taken most of it, but there's a little bit left. So this is the dill that's common to you when you dry it and put it in a jar for magic. Oh my gosh, that smells so good! So this dill on the end, and then the seeds on the top. Okay, the fruit on the top. Alright, back to where we were at. To fortify themselves prior to battle, Roman gladiators rubbed their bodies with dill-scented oil. That's really cool. To fortify themselves. While emperors placed crowns of dill on their heads to ensure lengthy and successful reigns. That's amazing. Emperors were putting dill on their heads, and again, remember when we hung it above the doorway, it's like above the head, so it must have something to do with this top, like, crown chakra, I'm guessing. It might. That's just my intuition talking, really, you guys. So, Europeans have long used dill in spells and rites. In France, dill was a strong protectant against evil. Spaniards wore snippets of dill on their clothing to drive away demons. And brides in Germany carried wedding bouquets that contained dill for good luck. I wish I would have known that in my wedding, because I'm mostly German and so is my husband. My husband is 75% German, and I think I'm a little above 50. So that would have been a really cool thing just because of my heritage, right? So if you're German, put some dill in your bouquet for good luck when you get married, or have a hand fasting. And if you don't know what hand fasting is, look into it, and I'll try and do a video. But it's you know, Wiccan way or the witchcraft way or just this way, our way of getting married and becoming one with somebody else. So yeah, look into hand fasting, but Germans, if you're German, put a little dill in there. Though a Mediterranean plant, dill has traveled around the world. Fresh stalks of dill are sold in India for both culinary and protective uses. A few generations ago, cranky children were fed dill water to cause them to fall asleep. I live by a busy road, so I'm trying to just like talk around the cars. And the motorcycles are out today because it's so beautiful. Alright. A few generations ago, cranky children were fed dill water to cause them to fall asleep. In herbal medicine of the Renaissance, dill was prescribed for exactly the same purposes. It was chewed, eaten, or worn in bed for this purpose. Worn to bed for this purpose. Its magical uses. Dill's strong, fresh scent was probably responsible for its constant use in folk magic and religion throughout the ages. Its powers have not yet faded from the mind. Eating pickles before sleep is said to create strange dreams. And pregnant women, of course, that's something that we all know, pregnant women crave pickles or any kind of like dill smell. Hi, butterfly. The birds are all around too. It's so magical out here. Magical uses. Dill's strong, fresh scent was probably... Oh yeah, we said that. Women eating pickles. Women sometimes crave dill-flavored pickles. Fish cooked with dill leaves is said to exhilarate the brain, leading to an increased mental faculties. I don't know that word. This may be true for two reasons: the effect of the herb itself and the fact that such a meal would be less of a digestive burden than others. Ruled by Mercury, the planet of intelligence, dill seed, remember the fruit seed, actually fruits or weed, the leaves, may be added to diets designed to increase the ability to use the conscious mind. So that was probably like if you want to heighten your psychic abilities, your meditation, open up your third eye. That would probably be what that is talking about, I'm guessing. The ability to use the conscious mind. Or eat dill-flavored foods to bring money into your life, to help your business prosper, and to ensure that money you receive is spent wisely. I'm going to start putting more dill into my diet. Definitely. Dill pickles are also perfect for this use. What other miracles have been attributed to dill? For centuries, dill has been used to lose weight. Dill tea or pickles are both said to be helpful in achieving this common goal. Just don't sprinkle dill into a hot fudge sundae and expect it to work in weight loss magic. Haha, Scott, you're hilarious. Dill is also added to love foods. And that is the end of it. I mean, he said there's almost 2 pages there on dill. And I've not read this whole book. I use it for reference whenever I need to. One day I want to have the time to sit down and read these, but for now, I'm just really happy telling you guys all about this stuff. Again, like, you can get these giant stalks, and you can use these, it was talking about in protective rites. Take these off for pickling, put them in your food. So having this, and at the end of the year, you harvest it, keep the seeds, and restart it. It's not a plant that you just cut from and it regrows. Okay, so eventually I'm going to have this from this. And you just can use that for so many magical things. So thank you for joining me, you guys. This was really fun to do this video outside. I might try to do another herb before the sun gets too low. And then maybe I'll do a candlelight video. That would be fun. We'll see how much energy I have. I love you all. Thank you for coming back to my channel, The Taxidermy Witch. Subscribe because I'm coming up with new stuff every single day. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.